it solo today. Gabriel is not with me, so I'll be doing it solo. But one of the first things I want to talk about is a little bit on VoiceOver. VoiceOver is very neat, and we're going to be going through a tutorial that will help you learn VoiceOver quite a bit during the setup of your Mac. So when you first get your Mac, you land on a setup screen. And what you would do is hit the command key, hold down the command key and press F5. Now that enables VoiceOver. Your command key is to the left of your spacebar, and your F5 key is in the same spot if you're used to a Windows machine, or, for that matter, a Windows laptop. It's in the same spot. So if you hold down your command key and hit F5, you'll get a message telling you if you know how to use VoiceOver, press the V key to continue setting up your Mac. And if you don't know how to use VoiceOver, press the space bar. Well, since I'm already past that, and I'm on a Mac that's fully up and running, we're going to go through the tutorial here, and I'm going to hit a different keystroke to get to the tutorial, but once you hit the spacebar, it'll take you to the screen that we're going to be on now. So let's go ahead and hit Control Option Command F8. If you're already set up with Mac but you want to take this tutorial with me, it's Control Option Command 8. Now let's go ahead and hit that. Control Option Command F8. But if you're on the setup screen and you want to know how to use VoiceOver, just press the V key. Just press the space bar. So let's go ahead and jump into the tutorial.
The VoiceOver Quick Start. In this Quick Start, you'll learn VoiceOver basics, as well as important VoiceOver commands to help you navigate on your Mac and use apps. You can exit the Quick Start at any time and finish it later. To advance through the Quick Start panels now, use the arrow keys located to the right of the main keyboard keys. On a portable computer, they're located in the bottom right corner of the keyboard. The up arrow and down arrow keys are positioned one above the other, with the left arrow and right arrow keys on either side. Now continue to the next panel by pressing the right arrow key. To exit at any time, press the escape key. Panel 1 of 20.
Now we're going to go through this whole tutorial, alright? So let's go ahead and hit the right arrow key.
Practice what you learn. Many Quick Start panels include an area where you can use VoiceOver to practice the commands you just learned about on the panel. The Quick Start plays a sound to indicate when practice begins and ends. When VoiceOver starts and is ready for practice, you will hear the following sound. When VoiceOver stops, you will hear the following sound. Now continue to the next panel by pressing the right arrow key.
And that's
Panel 2 of 20.
And that's what we'll do. We'll hit the right arrow key.
The VoiceOver Modifier. You enter VoiceOver commands by pressing the VoiceOver Modifier and one or more other keys. You can set the VoiceOver Modifier to be the caps lock key or the Control and Option keys pressed at the same time. By default, you can use either as the VoiceOver Modifier. The caps lock key is the third key up from the bottom on the left edge of the keyboard. The location of the Control and Option keys depends on your computer. On a desktop computer, they are the second and third keys on either side of the space bar. On a portable computer, they are the second and third keys to the left of the space bar. During this Quick Start, when you need to enter a VoiceOver command, you will hear something like, press VO right arrow, which means press and hold the VoiceOver Modifier, then press the right arrow key. For example, you press and hold the caps lock key, then press the right arrow key. Now continue to the next panel by pressing the right arrow key. Panel 3 of 20.
Couldn't have explained it any much better. I will warn you about the desktop keyboard, since I'm on one right now, that the desktop keyboards, the tutorial says that they're the second and the third key to the right of the spacebar. They're also the first and the second key. Well, really on either side of your spacebar. They're to the left and to the right. But he referred to it on the right side. I don't think he said the left. If he did, I totally missed it. But it's the second and the third key to the left and the right of your spacebar, your option and your control. The second and third key, to the left of the command key on the left and right hand side is your option key. Then the third key to the left and right of your spacebar, left hand side and right hand side of your spacebar, is the control key. Okay, so let's go ahead and hit right arrow.
Keyboard help. VoiceOver provides keyboard help for learning about the keys on your keyboard. After you start keyboard help, just press a key to hear its name. If you press the VoiceOver modifier at the same time, you hear the name of the VoiceOver command assigned to that key, and a brief description of the command. Use VoiceOver now to start keyboard help. Press VOK. When you're done, press the Escape key to exit keyboard help and return to the Quick Start. Then press the right arrow key to continue to the next panel.
Okay, so what I can do now is hit the VoiceOver modifier keys. Remember that it's the second and the third keys out from your spacebar on the left and the right side on a desktop keyboard. Now on the right, on a laptop keyboard, it's the second and third keys out from your spacebar on the left hand side only. So I'll hit Control Option K.
Starting keyboard help. Type keys to hear their names. Hold down the VoiceOver keys while typing to hear VoiceOver commands. Press the Escape key at the top left corner of the keyboard to stop help.
Okay, now we can hit different commands. So if I just hit Control Option right arrow.
Option right arrow, move right, moves the VoiceOver cursor right.
And that's what I hit. It just said Option right arrow, but it did register the control key. If I hit, just random keys.
U. Caps lock on. Caps lock off. Tab. Accent. 1. Control. 1. Option. K. Keyboard help. Starts keyboard help. Option. H. Open VoiceOver help menu. Brings up the general help guide for VoiceOver. Control. Option. D. Go to dock. Moves VoiceOver cursor to the dock. Control. Option. Shift. D. Go to desktop. Moves VoiceOver cursor to the desktop.
Okay, well, you get the idea. You can hit any key that you want. Any key. But let's get out of this help. Let's hit the Escape key.
Press the right arrow key to continue.
And the Escape key is on the top left-hand corner of your keyboard, so let's hit the right arrow.
Move around the screen. To move the VoiceOver cursor, press the VoiceOver modifier while pressing the up, down, left, or right arrow key. As the cursor moves, you hear a description of the item it moves to. On screen, the VoiceOver cursor appears as a rectangular outline around the item. Use VoiceOver now to navigate around the practice area below. When you're done, continue to the next panel by pressing the right arrow key. VoiceOver on VoiceOver Quick Start. Move around the screen window. Show all comments. Selected radio button. 1 of 2 has keyboard focus.
Okay, so it's asking us to move, and it told us what keys to hit. Control Option right arrow, so that's what we'll do.
Hide all comments. Radio button. Settings. Announce alert messages. Settings. Uncheck checkbox. Speak selected text settings. Speak text under the mouse settings. Learn more button. Set option button. Quit button. Go back button. Continue button.
Okay, now I can't remember. Okay, it said hit right
Adjust
arrow.
the voice. You can choose a different voice to use in VoiceOver, or change the voice's rate, pitch, volume, and intonation.
Okay, so once we're done with that, we just hit the right
press
arrow.
the command right arrow several times
It's
until you hear the
21:45.
voice setting you want to change. To increase the settings value, press VO command up arrow. To decrease the value, press VO command down arrow. Use VoiceOver now to change the voice or adjust its settings. When you're done, continue to the next panel by pressing the right arrow key. VoiceOver on VoiceOver Quick Start. Adjust the voice window. Continue button has keyboard focus. Pitch 50%.
Now, if we just hold down the Control Option and Command keys and press the left and right arrows,
Rate 45%. Voice Alex.
it moves us through our different options. Now, if we use the Control Option up and down arrow, it's going to change whatever option we have selected with Control Option Command left and right arrow.
Fred.
Kathy.
Bruce.
Daniel.
Rhinoid.
Vicky. Victoria.
Rhinoid.
Daniel.
Bruce.
Kathy.
Fred.
Alex.
Okay, so I'll just set it back to Alex. We can also change the rate.
Panel 6 of 20. Panel 6 of 20. Volume 100. Intonation 50%. Voice out. Rate 40. 50. 50. 100%. 45%. Pitch 50%.
We can also change the pitch.
100%. 55%. 50%.
We can
Volume
change
100,
the
50,
intonation.
100%. Volume 100%. Intonation 100%. 60%. 50%.
Okay, so we'll just hit the right arrow key.
Select controls. You use the VoiceOver cursor to interact with checkboxes, radio buttons, pop-up menus, and other on-screen controls. To select a control, press VO spacebar. To show the items in a pop-up menu, press VO spacebar. To select an item in the menu, navigate to it, then press VO spacebar. Use VoiceOver now to navigate and select controls in the practice area below. When you're done, continue to the next panel by pressing the right arrow key. VoiceOver on VoiceOver Quick Start. Select Controls window, Cell Grid, uncheck checkbox as keyboard focus.
Okay. Now, these options are options that won't affect your system. They're just a part of the tutorial. But let's move around the screen with the Control Option and the right arrow keys. And the arrow keys, the left and right arrow keys.
Solid lines, uncheck. Column headings, uncheck. Row headings. For new documents, use rich text, selected radio, plain text, radio button, 2 of 2.
Now let's say I want to select this. If I want to select anything, Control Option Spacebar.
Press plain text, selected radio button.
That's what I
2 of 2.
hit. You heard me hit the spacebar nice and loud. And yeah, if I want to go back, I just hit Control Option left arrow.
Rich text, radio button, 1 of 2.
Let's say I want to select that. Let's go ahead and hit Control Option Spacebar.
Press rich text, selected radio button, 1 of 2.
And it also works on checkboxes.
For new documents, use row headings, uncheck checkbox.
If I check this, oops,
Check row headings, checkbox.
you can tell that it selects it. So let's go ahead and hit VO space again.
Uncheck row headings, checkbox.
So that command becomes really important in the Mac OS X environment, and well, in the Mac OS environment, really, in the Mac environment. If you land on a control that you can press with the VoiceOver keys in space or Control Option Spacebar, then you can hit the Control Option Spacebar and it selects it. So we're done here. You get the idea. You can play around with this as long as you want, but we're going to move right along with this tutorial. So let's go ahead and hit the right arrow key.
Type in text fields. You enter information in text fields. Most text fields have labels located above or beside them. Move the VoiceOver cursor to a label to learn about the text field and the type of information to enter in the field. When you type in a text field, you hear each letter as you type it. When you type in a secure text field, such as a password field, the characters are not spoken. Use VoiceOver now to read the labels for the text fields in the practice area below, and then move the cursor to the text fields to enter text. When you're done, continue to the next panel by pressing the right arrow key. VoiceOver on VoiceOver Quick Start. Type in text fields window, name, edit text as keyboard focus.
Okay, so it automatically lands you in a text field. Let's go ahead and try and fill out some of these. Let me just see something.
C.
Okay, I need to turn on typing echo because I forgot it uses your default VoiceOver things.
Adjust speech verbosity level, medium, text, characters.
And we'll get into how to change
Stop
all
adjusting
that, but
typing
I'm
echo.
just going to change it to characters.
C-R-A-Y-T-O-N.
Now, I just typed in my name, and we're going to move to the right with Control Option right arrow. We're going to move around the screen.
Type a sample password. Password, secure edit text.
We're going to type in, what is your name? 599.
Quit button.
Okay, so it's fairly easy to navigate through these text fields. Navigating through text fields is very simple. So let's go ahead and move to the next screen with the right arrow key. If it'll let me.
Go back, but continue button.
Let's go ahead and try hitting continue. There it goes.
Interact with elements. Some elements can contain other elements, such as a toolbar that contains buttons. VoiceOver simplifies navigation by moving to these top-level elements, then letting you decide whether to explore the elements within. When you hear an element of interest, such as a table, you can stop and interact with it. When you do, the VoiceOver cursor stays within the element's boundaries until you stop interacting with it. To start interacting with an element, press VO Shift down arrow. Then to navigate within the element, use VO and the arrow keys. To stop interacting with it, press VO Shift up arrow. Use VoiceOver now to interact with the toolbar in the practice area below. When you're done, continue to the next panel by pressing the right arrow key. VoiceOver on VoiceOver Quick Start. Interact with elements window. Text. Interact with elements.
Okay. So we need to find this toolbar. Let's move to the right.
Text. Some elements can contain a toolbar.
Here it is. So let's interact with this toolbar. And you notice VoiceOver makes a sound.
Toolbar.
That means that we can interact with it. So let's go ahead and interact with the toolbar.
Interact with toolbar. 5 items. Get mail button.
So it looks like they took the toolbar from mail.
New message button. New note button. New to do button. Colors button.
Or who knows what it's from.
Colors button.
Kind of looks like mail.
New get mail button. Stop and quit button.
So let's go ahead and hit the right arrow key.
Navigate in tables. When you interact with tables in documents and web pages, you navigate vertically and horizontally using the VoiceOver commands you have already learned, VO and the arrow keys. To read tables by column, row, or cell, you use other VoiceOver commands. To read a table column, press VOCC. To read a row, press VORR. To read the column header, VOC. To read the row header, VOR. Use VoiceOver now to navigate and read the table in the practice area. When you're done, continue to the next panel by pressing the right arrow key. VoiceOver on VoiceOver Quick Start. Navigate in tables window. Table, row 13 of 13. Index, 13. Language, Korean. Character count, 6. Selected has keyboard focus. Quit button.
Okay, so usually with tables, it's good to interact with them. If you're on the web, it's kind of a different story. But if you're in an application that has a table, it's good to interact with the table. So let's hit our interaction keys, Control, Option, Shift, down arrow.
Interact with table, row 13 of 13. Index, 13. Language, Korean. Character count, 6. So
now, we're going to go over these keystrokes. So to read the row, it's Control, Option, RR.
Index, 13. Language, Korean. Character count, 6.
Okay, it tells me the row. If I want to read the header of the row, it's Control, Option, R.
13.
That's the header. If I want to read the column that we're in, it's Control, Option, CC.
In 13.
Okay. Now, if I want to read the column header, then I can.
Index.
Okay, it says index. That's the column header.
13.
Oops.
Index.
Okay. Now, to move by columns, you use your, once you're interactive with the table, you use your Control, Option, and right arrow keys.
Language, Korean.
Okay, we're moving by columns.
13. Language, Korean. Character count, 6.
Okay.
Character count, 6. 6. 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6,
Now that means
6.
we're at the end. We cannot move by any more columns.
Language, index, character count, 7.
There
Index, 13.
are 3 columns.
Language, character count,
Now if I want to
6.
move by rows,
Index, 13.
I'll just go back to the first column, which is index. If I want to move by a row, I can use the Control, Option, up and down arrows.
13.
Now, if I
13.
try and do the down arrow, hit the down arrow key while holding down the Control and Option keys, it doesn't work, okay, because we're on the last column.
13. 13.
We're on the last row,
13.
excuse me. So if I want to move up, what I can do is hit the up arrow key.
12, 11, 10, 9,
Okay, it's telling me the different index numbers.
8, 7. Language, Dutch, Portuguese, Italian. Index, 4, 3, 2, 1, 1, 1.
Now, that's fairly easy. So what we can do is we should just be able to hit the right arrow key. Yep, we can.
Select a date and time. To change a date or time, first interact with the date or time field. To move to the setting you want to change, such as the month or hour, press VO right arrow or VO left arrow. To increase or decrease the settings value, press VO up arrow or VO down arrow. When you're done, stop interacting with the field. Use VoiceOver now to select a date and time in the practice area below. When you're done, continue to the next panel by pressing the right arrow key.
Okay. So now we're on the selecting the date and the time, and you'll encounter this some in some applications, and especially when we get into scheduling a restart or a wake up for a Mac, which will be more advanced. It'll come later. You'll have one of those situations, so it's good that they're covering this. So let's try and find this field.
Navigate in tables, select a date and time. To change a date or time, first interact with the date or
Did
time
VoiceOver
field.
not start?
To move to the setting you want to change, such as the month or hour, press VO right arrow or VO left arrow. To increase or decrease the settings value, press VO up arrow or VO down arrow. When you're done, stop interacting with the field. VoiceOver now to select a date and time in the practice area below. When you're done, continue to the next panel by pressing the right arrow key.
There it goes.
VoiceOver on VoiceOver Quick Start. Select a date and time window. February 12, 1982. Date has keyboard focus.
For some reason, VoiceOver wouldn't start, so I had to go back to it again. But we're good. Let's go ahead and interact with this.
Enter a time.
Let me just
11 a.m. Time. Enter a
let me
time.
just go to the date first.
February 12, 1982. Date.
So let's interact with this.
Interact with date 1982.
Now, if I want to change when the up and down arrow keys move by, I use the Control Option left or Control Option right arrow keys.
February.
That's month.
Day 12.
That's the date.
1982.
And that's the year.
February.
So let's say I want to change the month. Okay, we're focused on that. I'm going to hit Control Option up arrow.
March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October.
And as you can tell, it's increasing. If I want to decrease it, hold down those VoiceOver Modifier keys, the Control and Option keys, and hit the down arrow key.
September, August, July, June, May, April, March, February.
Okay, so if I want to change something else, I can just hold down those VoiceOver Modifier keys and hit the right arrow key.
Day 12.
We're on day. So if I want to move it up,
13, 14, 8, 9, 20, 9, 8, 14, 13, 12.
and down arrow decreases it, you get the idea.
Stop enter.
Now, same for the time field. Let's go to it here.
Enter a time.
I'm just using the modifier keys and the right arrow, the Control Option keys.
11 a.m. Time. Interact with time. 11 a.m. 0 minutes. 0 seconds. 11 a.m. 12 p.m. 1 p.m.
And
2 p.m.
as you can tell, it
11
does the
a.m.
same thing. Up and down arrow changes your choices. For an example, it's set to
11 a.m.
time right now, what the time is,
2, 4,
the hour.
11 a.m.
And if I want to change what the up and down arrow keys move by,
0 minutes.
use the modifier keys and the left and right arrow keys, all right? The Control and Option and the modifier keys,
Stop.
all right? So we'll stop interacting with this and hit the right arrow.
Use steppers.
It's
Steppers
22
are on-screen
hours.
controls for increasing or decreasing the value of a numeric setting. To use a stepper, first interact with it. Then to increase or decrease a value, press VO up arrow or VO down arrow. When you're done, stop interacting with the stepper. Use VoiceOver now to use the steppers in the practice area below. When you're done, continue to the next panel by pressing the right arrow key.
Okay.
The dock. Use steppers.
Oh, geez.
Steppers are on-screen controls for increasing or decreasing the
Alright,
value
this
of
must
a
be a
numeric
bug in El
setting.
Capitan then.
To use a stepper, first interact with it. Then to increase or decrease a value, press VO up arrow or VO down arrow. When you're done, stop interacting with the stepper. Use VoiceOver now to use the steppers in the practice area below. When you're done, continue to the next panel by pressing the right arrow key.
Here we go.
VoiceOver on VoiceOver Quick Start. Use steppers window. 25. Contents selected. Age. Edit text has keyboard focus.
Okay, let's go to the stepper.
Stepper.
Alright. So, here we are.
Number. Stepper. No. 0. Contents selected. Stepper. Stepper.
There's several steppers here, but we'll just go to
25.
the age.
Stepper.
Let's interact with the stepper.
Interact with stepper.
Now, it said to use the control option up and down arrow keys. Up increases, down decreases. Get it? Okay. So we'll use the up arrow key.
Incrementing. Incrementing.
Now, it doesn't tell you what it's incrementing by,
Incrementing.
but if we stop interacting
Stop interacting with stepper.
and go to the left,
30. Contents selected. Age.
it shows that it's
Step.
moving the age.
Decrementing. Decrementing.
And I'm interacting with the
Decrementing.
stepper again
Decrementing.
and hitting the down arrow key.
Decrement. Stop 18. Stepper.
And steppers are pretty easy. You just interact with them and you use your control option up and down arrow keys to move the steppers. You'll encounter them some in some applications. Not all of them, but some. And even in Mac OS 10 itself, at the time of this recording, you will encounter it. Alright, so let's go and hit the right arrow key.
The dock. The dock, located along the edge of the screen, contains icons for Finder, Launchpad, and popular apps, such as Mail, Safari, and iTunes. To navigate to the dock, press VOD. To move between icons in the dock, press VO left arrow or VO right arrow. To open an item, press VO spacebar. Continue to the next panel by pressing the right arrow key. Panel 13 of 20.
Alright, now, I don't know why this is doing this,
The dock,
but
the dock,
we have to,
located along
I have
the
to
edge of
restart
screen, contains icons
lesson.
for Finder, Launchpad, and popular apps, such as Mail, Safari,
I'll have to figure
and
that one out
iTunes.
after this recording's
To
done.
navigate to the dock, press VOD.
You shouldn't experience this
To
problem,
move
but I
between
am.
icons in the dock, press VO left arrow or VO right arrow. To open an item, press VO spacebar. Continue to the next panel by pressing the right arrow key. Panel 13 of 20.
Well, for some reason, it's not letting me do it unless I have
The
to
dock, located along
turn
the
on
edge of the
VoiceOver
screen,
with Command
contains
F5.
icons for Finder, Launchpad, and popular apps, such as
We'll try
Mail,
this one more
Safari,
time,
and iTunes.
and if this does not work,
To navigate to the dock, press VOD. To move between icons in the dock, press VO left arrow or VO right arrow. To open an item, press VO spacebar. Continue to the next panel by pressing the right arrow key.
oh, okay.
Panel 13 of 20.
That wasn't my fault right there. It said it was telling me to continue to the next panel and not go to the dock. But anyway, that's my fault. So don't try VOD or Control Option D because it won't work. Anyway, let's go to the right.
The menu bar, located along the top edge of the screen, contains app menus. The menus change based on the active app, but typically include File, Edit, Format, Window, and Help. The Apple menu, at the left end of the menu bar, is always available. The right end of the menu bar contains Notification Center, Spotlight, and various status menus, such as Wi-Fi or battery, depending on your computer and settings. To navigate to the menu bar, press VOM. To navigate to the status menus, press VOMM. To move between items in each of these areas, press VO left arrow or VO right arrow. To open an item, press VO spacebar. Continue to the next panel by pressing the right arrow key. Panel 14 of 20.
So you can try this. Well, you can't really try this during the tutorial, but afterwards you can. You can go back and you can try these different keystrokes that it's telling you to do. So let's move on to the next panel.
Navigate web pages. You can easily navigate a web page using voiceover commands you have already learned, VO and the arrow keys. VoiceOver provides other ways to browse web pages, such as using the rotor and web spots, explained in the next panels. Continue to the next panel by pressing the right arrow key.
Okay, so we'll
Panel
continue.
15. Use the rotor. The VoiceOver rotor provides a quick way to navigate the content of the window. In web pages, it provides lists of links, headers, and other common web items. You select an item from a list and jump directly to the item in the window. To open the rotor, press VOU. Move between the list using the right arrow or left arrow key. Move between the items in a list using the up arrow or down arrow key. When you find the item you want to jump to, press the space bar. Continue to the next panel by pressing the right arrow key. Panel
Okay.
16 of 20.
So that's talking about the web and using the rotor. Very easy. And you should be good when we get to the web after you take this tutorial, because we'll be using that web rotor a lot. So let's go ahead and move to the right with the right arrow key.
Use auto web spots. When VoiceOver opens a web page, it automatically groups items based on the page's visual design and marks the groups with auto web spots. You can use the auto web spots to navigate web pages. To jump to the next or previous auto web spot, press VO Command N or VO Command Shift N. To hear the related items in an auto web spot, use general navigation keys. To move to the item before or after an auto web spot, press VO right arrow or VO left arrow key. Continue to the next panel by pressing the right arrow key. Panel
We really
17
won't
of
cover
20.
auto web spots. We might not. It all depends. Now, the auto web spots, basically it'll mark certain parts of the page just like it just said, and you can jump to those very easily. It'll give you a quick way to jump to those with VO Command N and VO Command Shift N. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on.
Practice web page navigation. Use VoiceOver now to navigate web pages in the practice area below. You can use VO and the arrow keys, the rotor, and auto web spots. When you're done, continue to the next panel by pressing the right arrow key. VoiceOver on VoiceOver Quick Start. Practice web page navigation window. Let's learn about lemurs. HTML content has keyboard focus.
Okay, now this should be interesting. Whenever there's an HTML content, you have to interact with it. It makes that little bloop sound, and that means you have to interact with it. So let's interact with this.
Interact with. Let's learn about lemurs. HTML content. Let's learn about lemurs. Heading level 1. Interact with. Let's learn about lemurs. Heading level 1. Let's learn about lemurs.
Okay, so let's try the rotor. Let's hit Control Option U,
Links menu.
and right now it's set to links.
Madagascar. What do lemurs look like? What do lemurs eat? How do lemurs communicate? How many types of lemurs are there? Did the early lemurs live in Africa? What happened to the early lemurs?
Now, yours will say link, but since I have my VoiceOver customized, mine clicks for links.
Did the early lemurs live? What do lemurs eat?
I guess I should have changed that. I didn't think of it. It's been forever since I've done this tutorial. But let's say I want to move by something else, so I hit the right arrow key.
Headings menu. Form controls menu. No items in. Web tables menu. Window spots menu. Links menu. Headings menu. Links menu.
Let's say I'm going to go to one of these links.
Madagascar.
It says to use the up and down arrow key to move through the
What do
links,
lemurs look
or
like?
whatever you have selected in the rotor, and to hit the space bar.
What do lemurs look like?
And it takes me to it. Now, to activate something on a web page, you would just, like a link or a button, you would hit Control Option Space Bar. Now, let's try the Auto Web Spots feature. Let's go ahead and hit Control Option Command N.
History. Heading level 3.
Okay.
The lemur is a kind of primate, and is related to apes and humans. Most lemurs have long, pointed noses, which accounts for their excellent sense of smell. The color of their coats varies from reddish-brown to gray. Lemurs range in size from the...
So I'll just hit the control key to stop it. So, if you want to move to the previous auto web spot, it's VO Command Shift N again.
History, heading level. What do lemurs? Lemurs are small. Let's learn about...
And as you can tell, there's nothing else to navigate by. Alright, so let's go ahead and move on.
VoiceOver review. Take time now to review the VoiceOver commands you have learned by using them in the practice area below. If you need to revisit a lesson, use the Go Back button. When you're done, continue to the next panel by pressing the right arrow key.
Well, for some reason, VoiceOver did not start, but that's alright. But you can review the commands here that you've learned. We won't do that. But if you do want to do that, then go right ahead. Go ahead and hit the right arrow key. And we'll move on.
Get more from your Mac. Congratulations! You have completed the VoiceOver Quick Start. Now you can use the VoiceOver commands you have learned to get more out of using your Mac. If you need help using VoiceOver, press VOH when VoiceOver is on. You can customize VoiceOver using VoiceOver Utility. VoiceOver Utility presents a list of 10 categories, from general to activities. To open VoiceOver Utility, press VOF8 when VoiceOver is on. To exit the VoiceOver Quick Start, press the Escape key or select the Done button. To revisit panels, select the Go Back button. VoiceOver on VoiceOver Quick Start. Get more from your Mac window. Done.
Let's hit the Escape key.
Finder, Desktop, Macintosh HD Volume.
And here we are. We land back in my desktop. And that, my friend, or friends and everyone else, is the VoiceOver Quick Start guide. It's been forever since I've done it. I believe I did it back in Mavericks. So that's been a couple of years. So I just went through the whole Quick Start guide. You can take it as many times as you want. Once you get your Mac set up, if you want to retake it again, you can use the Control Option Command F8. However, you will have to hold down your function key in order to activate the VoiceOver Quick Start. Okay, now to do that, your function key on a laptop keyboard is going to be above your... No, it's not going to be above. On a laptop keyboard, it's going to be to the very left. On the very left side of your keyboard. You hold that down, hold down Control Option Command, and hit F8. Now we'll get into customizing that later on. Now if you're on a desktop keyboard, man, this is going to be tricky. Because the way the FN key is, the FN key on a desktop is right above your delete key. And that's the only place where there's an FN key. So we'll get into customizing Mac to an accessible point, okay, to kind of eliminate the FN key to where you only need to use it to adjust the volume, to play iTunes, etc., etc. And we'll get into using the how to get it to where you can set the function keys up for software use, so F1 through F12 and all that, so that way you won't have to hold down the FN key if you want to visit the Quick Start at any time. The Quick Start's a good little refresher, 20 lessons, and it's pretty darn good. I would recommend that you take it several times so that way you can get used to VoiceOver. But anyway, that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you so much for listening, and 39 minutes long of my stupidity and everything else. But anyway, that's about it. Thanks for listening.